I just wanted to say something about the new moon chart for 2014, which I haven't been able to get to until now, so I'm sort of rewinding a little bit, but it doesn't matter because it covers the whole of the year. And what that is finding the first new moon of the year, and then looking at the aspects, and then getting a picture of a general vibe, a general tone that will permeate the whole of the year for us all. And this year it was very interesting, in fact, because the new moon was on January the 1st and it was in Capricorn. Now, as you may or may not know, Capricorn has Pluto in it, a long transit of Pluto over many years, and this new moon happened to be conjunct Pluto, which is about radical change in our world, and it's being triggered a great deal by another aspect coming in from Uranus in Aries. And so this new moon was conjunct Pluto, and it was in aspect to Uranus in Aries. But not only that, it was also in aspect, and quite a hard working aspect, with Mars in Libra, which is currently in a very long transit of Libra, and Mercury in Capricorn. So in fact, the new moon of the year was conjunct Mercury and Pluto, and in a very hard, conflicting at times, working aspect with Uranus and Mars. And this is for setting the tone. Now, Uranus and Pluto are transpersonal planets about generational change. So there's been a lot put out on the internet about this long-running aspect between the two of them, and you know, it boils down to we are in a time of huge upheaval and change on this planet, the like of which we haven't seen since the Great Recession of the 30s. When these two were also in a very strong, hard, as I would call, working aspect with each other. Working aspects are the red aspects in the natal chart, which shows a lot of heat, a lot of friction in them. And these are two planets of change. Pluto, the evolver, the transmuter, and Uranus, the transformer, and also the planet of disruption, but also amazing leaps into new areas. And when we get a mix like this, with Mars around triggering even more, Mars is the fire starter, Mars is, you know, the match that struck, that lights the fuse, as it were, in the mix here with the moon and Mercury as well, then we have a real strong statement of intent set up for the whole of 2014, challenging us to let go and move on. I mean, if I was going to put it in a nutshell, that's it. Because resistance is futile, and we have to understand that in this time of rapid evolution over 2014, which is even going to be affecting the weather, it already is affecting the weather, but it will continue to do so, that it's almost like one of those cameras that's set up to film a 24-hour period or rather a 12-hour period in the sky, or, you know, several days looking at a flower or a leaf unfolding. In fact, 24 hours looking at a flower or a leaf unfurling or unfolding. It's like everything is really, really, really accelerating and speeding up. So it's a little bit like that. And if the flower was to dig its heels in and say, no, I'm not going to open now to my full potential, I'm just going to stick here because I'm comfortable and this is all I've known, then it's going to be really tough on the flower, because those strong energies coming up through the earth and coming from the wind and the rain and the sun in the sky are just going to batter it until it kind of gets knocked off and falls on the ground, and it never did open into its full potential. That sometimes is what happens with early flowering daffodils or crocuses, or rather daffodils more than crocuses, because daffodils kind of really do stick their heads above the parapet, don't they? And they stand up quite high. But this is the time for us to challenge ourselves. That's what I'm trying to get to. This is the time for us to challenge our own habits, our own patterns, our own expectations, our own beliefs, our own rules, our own stuck places, and have a clear out, have a declutter, because that external activity can help us, you know, internally to kind of clear the decks. So this year it is about somehow or other the almost like the mountain of resistance, a kind of tunneling a way through that, or in fact the mountain of resistance just being split asunder and finding the clear way through. You know, I could use lots of other metaphors, but yeah, you get the message here. And it can sometimes be ever so hard to scrutinize our own shortcomings, or the things in our emotional patterning that are actually counterproductive to our unfurling our leaves and our petals. So maybe it would be smart to get a little bit of extra help if you feel that you need that, either through doing some you know, some talk therapy, or just some writing therapy of your own, or whatever it is. And this is very interesting. It's going to be very interesting over 2014, because we're already going to be getting these very, very strong tightening up of the aspect between Uranus and Pluto, triggered by Mars, that just happens to be in another of the cardinal signs on a couple of very strong occasions, April in particular, and November. I would say probably March, April, May, and November, December 2014. So watch this space. It's going to be interesting, and it, you know, it will feel a little bit like a battle zone at times, but it's coming to the end. You know, there's been a lot of talk and people speaking about recovery. Well, astrologically speaking, the recovery has to start taking place round about now, but it's so faint, and it's almost like saying, yeah, we're winning the war, but in actual fact we haven't finished fighting all the battles yet. And it's really important to keep your eye on the ball, to establish the new order, because once this transit is over, which is going to be mid-2015, and it's not over till the fat lady sings either, as we say here in Europe or in Britain, because, you know, it's not going to be summer 2015, it'll be going on into 2016. In fact, I get the sense it's going to be going on until 2020, even when the aspect's over, because we'll be picking up the pieces, but the pieces are going to be fitting into the jigsaw in a different kind of a way. And it's very important for us to do the work now, because down the line we will be really glad we did, because once the aspect of again, metaphorically speaking, the winds of Uranus and Pluto have done, and it goes quiet again, that will be then when the energies start to settle and consolidate and take up their new positions, you know, musical chairs. Who are the ones actually sitting in the seats of power? Who are the ones established in authority? Because it's all up for grabs, it really is. And of course they are pushing in one direction, and the grassroots is pushing in another, and it is, you know, a time to clean up our act and get with the program, which is the program of expansion into new dimensions of consciousness, and a shift into a completely new paradigm on this earth. So as I say, watch this space, and I'll come back to this another time.